You know the feeling, the crushing exhaustion of carrying the weight of someone else's problems, followed by the intense guilt that hits the exact moment you try to say no. Today, we are going to fix that. We are going to build your personalized 4-step boundary protocol, a system to cleanly separate your responsibilities while still maintaining a supportive relationship. Grab a pen and a piece of paper right now. To make this work, pick one specific, currently stressful relationship in your life to focus on for this exercise. Establishing a boundary preserves the personal integrity required to be an effective, reliable partner to anyone else. Step 1. Write down the name of the person you've chosen. We need to diagnose your current dynamic. In psychology, unhealthy relationship systems often fall into two extremes. On one end is emotional cutoff, where you flee physically or shut down silently to avoid anxiety. On the other end is enmeshment, where you sacrifice your own identity to keep the peace. This cohesion matrix maps group dynamics. The dark outer columns represent extremes, disconnected on the left, enmeshed on the right. Look at the bottom rows measuring independence. Our target is to navigate out of those extremes and into the balanced middle ground. Let's do a symptom check. If you feel a constant lack of privacy, or if you feel that this other person's failure is literally your own failure, you are operating in an enmeshed system. When we label enmeshment as loyalty, we commit to carrying a load that isn't ours, which leads directly to the chronic anxiety and exhaustion many people feel. Step 2. Draw a line down the middle of your paper. Label the left side, my task, and the right side, their task. To assign items to these columns accurately, we use the work of early 20th century psychologist Alfred Adler and his foundational concept, the separation of tasks. Adler's rule relies on the consequence test. When a problem occurs, you must ask one question: who ultimately bears the direct consequence of the result? For example, if a child refuses to study, they get the failing grade. If a coworker procrastinates on a report, their professional standing takes the hit. They bear the direct consequence. That makes it firmly their task. Apply this test to your specific conflict right now. Identify the core action required to solve the problem and write it solely on the their task side of the paper. You will feel a strong temptation to take on their task. This usually happens because watching them struggle triggers your own internal anxiety, and fixing it relieves your discomfort. Doing someone else's task robs them of their autonomy, prevents them from learning, and ensures the dysfunctional cycle will repeat. Step 3 addresses the guilt trap. You might know intellectually what belongs on the their task side of the paper, but you feel too guilty to actually step back and let them handle it. Write down the unhealthy internal belief driving that guilt. It usually sounds something like, if I don't step in and fix this, I am a bad team member, or I am a bad parent. Now, literally cross that sentence out on your paper. We are going to replace it with a rational boundary-building affirmation. When the guilt flares up, replace it with this: I have a right to my own identity. I trust them to have the ability to solve their own life tasks. By stepping back, you acknowledge the other person's competence, allowing them to own the results of their own life. Step 4 introduces our final concept: differentiation of self. This means maintaining your own emotional equilibrium, even when the person standing right next to you is highly anxious. When you are differentiated, you can offer genuine empathy and verbal support without becoming infected by their panic and without taking over their physical duties. You pull apart from the anxious enmeshment, align yourself beside them, and provide a calm, steady presence. Adlerian psychology often reinforces this with a classic metaphor. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot force it to drink. You provide the environment, but the action is theirs. Write down your final engagement script. Memorize this sentence: I am here to brainstorm with you if you need support, but I will not do this for you. True community requires two distinct individuals standing side by side. It cannot survive if one person is constantly carrying the other. Look at your completed paper. You now hold a clear diagnosis of your dynamic, a map separating your specific tasks, an affirmation to fight the guilt, and a precise verbal script for your next conversation. You no longer have to choose between cutting this person completely out of your life or being dragged underwater by their anxiety. take this piece of paper into your next interaction with them. Use it as your physical and mental anchor when the pressure rises. Mastering this protocol turns your relationships from a constant source of exhaustion into a space built on mutual respect and capability. If you found this exercise useful, subscribe to the channel for more practical tools to build a resilient mindset. We will see you in the next video.